Hey Mo, we need to get an intro down for this channel, you know.
Yeah, but what are you thinking, Leigh?
Why don't I rap over the top of it?
Don't be ridiculous. You sound like a northern M&M.
Look, listen to me. Yo, yo, yo. The Munch brunch in the house, man.
Absolutely not.
Right, what you got in mind?
Let's just keep it simple.
I'm Leigh.
I'm Aim.
We're the Munch brunch.
Hi everyone and welcome back to another mukbang with Aim and Leigh. We are the Munch Brunch UK. Leigh, I'm going to tell them what we got on the menu.
Yeah, I think you should, and you deserve to.
Okay guys, so this is a Mo, our good best friend's inspired meal. This is a lamb, chicken and potato curry, okay? Now, it didn't, the recipe wasn't including chicken, sorry, but I had to add some because my mum doesn't eat that much lamb. Now, this is a Latif's inspired video on YouTube, and he has a restaurant in Stoke-on-Trent. So Mo sent me with his lovely wife a whole heap of spices, proper traditional spices, and he said to me, you need to make this. So as Mo said, he only sent to me the day before yesterday the spices. He's like, Aim, you don't mess about, do you? And I thought, no, I've been so excited. We've been having a discussion all week about it, and I thought, right, I'm going to get straight into it. Now, this is my first attempt at making an Indian Bangladeshi curry from scratch. So,
now, literally, it's not your Sharwood sauce. If you go and check out the other channel, Aim's done a couple of them.
I have.
And, yeah, this is what you're going to get from it. We need, actually, to show back.
So, super happy with the results. So obviously, it's not perfect because this is the first time I've actually made this. But I have had a taste and it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, we have just pop it on some Lidl. I did say we should have made some, but we didn't have the time. And some garlic and coriander naan bread also from Lidl. Not Lidl, sorry. Both are from Tesco, my bad. I just ran over before whilst I was finishing up the cooking.
Try it first.
I like to dunk. I'm a
No,
dunker.
try it first. Don't. Try it first properly.
Oh, gosh. Right then, we'll go in with some meat.
And some rice, like, you know.
And some rice. Meat and rice, that's what curry's like. You can see my meat back there. That is pretty damn tasty. Yeah, that is really nice. Got so a bit of a kick to it. Not as much as I was worried. When we was cooking it, I was like, holy hell, I can smell the heat coming off that.
No.
Back in your throat you can feel it a bit, but because Ian's mum's had stomach problems over the years, Ian couldn't put it as hot as the man who did the recipe, could you? You had to leave out a little bit of the chilli powder. I think we just left a little bit of the chilli powder out of there.
I couldn't handle that, no way.
But big up to Mo. Mo is, in the comments, guys, it's totally honest. He's been, not just a subscriber, a friend of ours for now, I don't know, going on a year since we started the channel, pretty much. And him and his lovely wife sent a big package the other day, around about Aim's birthday time, and all these spices was in there. If we'd gone out and bought these spices, it would have cost us a lot of money, so it really helped us out.
Oh, nice.
So, now I can dunk.
I can't believe it though, guys, because it tastes like proper, like, you know, from the shop.
At a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
You enjoy?
I am quite proud of myself.
In terms of lamb,
That is lean.
I'm normally like, I associate lamb with lamb dinners. I'm not a fan of a lamb dinner.
Try that piece there.
I don't really like the taste of lamb on a dinner. Oh, yeah, with potatoes and stuff.
I think that's turned out pretty darn good.
But this is like a lamb leg steak, and once it's been tenderised and stuff, I was gone pretty tender.
You haven't tried it yet.
No, I could tell it. That's nice. I've never had lamb in a curry before. That's really good.
I'm buzzing.
I'd be lying if I said that I weren't enjoying it.
Honestly, you can make things so much easier than buying it sometimes. You know, like the money that it costs.
Well, the other day in the Chinese video, on Monday, I mentioned on there, was going to order an Indian. Now, this, say we ordered this as a curry, we'd have got £9.50 per curry at our local Indian. I don't know what it's cost us in the end, about £10 for the meat, but that's gone around 4 people. So it's like 40 quid alone on 4 separate curries. The naan bread is here as well, here.
I'm okay with this.
Anyway, how are we all? How are we all doing?
I'm going to be talking.
Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, comment below. Follow Munchies Delights if you want to see any cooking video. We don't do every single meal we have, but a lot of the time we do cook-alongs. And this one, you want to see it all. Going from chicken and lamb on a plate to this.
The process was so much fun to do that. It really was. I didn't expect it to turn out that is.
No. And if the bloke who we borrowed the recipe off would like to, you know, start sending us some free curries.
Oh, I'll go wait for it.
Well, yeah. Anyway. I had something to talk about. I've forgotten what it was.
Well, I think this brings us back on to the whole takeaway issue, doesn't it?
What's that?
Like, how much you pay for a takeaway. Like, you can really sort of be charged a lot. Thinking about it, like what we'd pay for this one dish.
Yeah.
That's fed 4 people, bear in mind, guys. If you ordered a 4-person set menu from a takeaway, L1, you're talking £50. In excess sometimes.
But this is banging.
So obviously, sometimes if you just follow the actual recipe from home, it really works. So, so at the beginning, if the spices and things are a lot of money, but you have them already then, don't you, like for the next meal that you create? In fact, that's what I want to know. What do you make at home, takeaway-wise, from scratch? I would like to know what you do, and if you've got any suggestions, please leave a comment below.
Yeah, we was asked to do something the other day by a lady in America. And I need to look at what our English version of some of this food is.
Wasn't it grits or something?
Yeah, it's like a southern American breakfast, so like grits and all sorts of different stuff. I was like, okay, I'm not sure where we'd get that or how we'd do it, but
yeah,
we will have a look at trying to make that.
Cheese and grits, I don't know.
I can't remember now to look at it. Anyway, today's topic of conversation. We've got 2. I'm going to go have a choice of 2 conversations. 2 topics. We've got A, we've got B.
Right.
A, assisted suicide. A bit dark, I know, but I thought it was an interesting conversation to have. Yay or nay, who's for it and who's against it. I like it in the dark. And the other one was the parents. I heard this and I thought, it's really out of order in my opinion.
Go on.
Who take away their child's option of, like, it's becoming more and more popular these days for parents to say, we've had a child, we're not going to give him a male or female name, we're going to let the child grow up and in 15 years can decide if they are male or female. Now, I'm all for gender reassignment, I think they call it, and people's personal choices, but I just think there's going to be a lot of confused children in a few years' time who grow into primary school and their mates are like, yeah, my name's Bill, my name's Bob, my name's Ben. And this kid's like, I don't know. My mum told me I'm not a male or a female. So which conversation do you want to have?
Why don't we dabble into both?
Okay. So, pick up where we just left off. The whole, do you agree that parents should be leaving their children? I mean, I think it's just like, you got these new age parents, basically. Now, like, I don't want my child to be boxed in and have to play with action men, so to speak, or boys' toys, and dress like a boy. When they grow up, they might feel like they want to be a girl. But then at the same time, are you giving your child, like, different mixed messages? Like, don't worry about it. There are boys out there in your class. There are girls in your class. That might be the only child in the whole school who doesn't have a gender assigned to them because their parents thought, no, it's not fair.
I think you call it gender neutral.
Yeah, gender neutral and gender fluid. I think is another.
Okay,
word
so I think sometimes you have to strip it back to basics. Right. So when you are born, you do have a gender, obviously. If you are born with a female part,
some don't have anything, unfortunately.
No, but you know what I mean. 90% of the time, you are born and you are female physically. if you are born with a male bit, you are born physically a male. Now, that doesn't mean you are emotionally female or male. However, I personally think that child needs to go through life to know how they personally feel. So I was born as a female, obviously.
I hope so.
And we was assigned female and male names. I still think that is the way forward. And if there was a change in that child's feelings, then you start the process of gender reassignment.
Yeah, well, when you get older, yeah.
As long as that is an absolute thing that your child, and when I say child, I don't mean 4 years of age. I mean the process of them becoming, like, obviously a teenager, experiencing things to know what you want to be, whether it's male or female, and what your body and physical mind knows you to be. So if I knew in my head, like, I'm a man, I was born physically a female, but if I know in my heart and in my mental state I'm a man, then I need to be an adult mind, or at least teenager, so, you know, to get that.
Yeah, Tia has a friend, we've known her since she first started high school, so year 11. Tia met her in year 11, not year 11, sorry, year 7, my bad. And she was a girl, she still is a girl, but she's going through the process of becoming, it felt like for a lot of years, but they've said to her, like, her parents, okay, that's fine, but you've got to go for, do it the right way, have a couple of years, they won't do it in this country, I don't think, until they're 18 or something,
yeah.
Is it? Yeah, you've got to go through the right process, speak to the counsellors, you know, speak to other people who've gone through it, and just join groups with other people who feel the same, and that's the right way.
Yeah.
But I think when you've got parents who are taking that decision upon themselves, like, no, I don't feel my child should be pigeonholed into being male or female.
I think what's
they can't know at that young age.
Is we are following not a trend, so to speak, but following, like, new rules. Like, this is the way I see it. You have certain options, so you are either male or female physically born, but you might be the opposite when you're growing older. So I might feel I need to be a man, like Leigh. I am a woman. I'm not in this physical form. I am either gay or I am heterosexual.
There's a lot of sexualities that now. Well, I don't know half of them.
But I don't think, like, do we have to create loads of different titles? Do you know where I'm coming from? So I can completely understand the people who say you need to go through this as a process.
Yeah, if anyone wants to say to us, no, you don't know because you've not been through, I'm saying I'm open. If our Tia turned to us tomorrow and said I want to be a boy, we'd talk to her about it, and we'd talk for a long time before letting anything happen. But then again, she's 18 and can make her own decisions. But
I wouldn't take it away from a...
No?
From a parent's point of view, for me, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I would not, at day one when she was born, say, oh, I'm not going to give her a name because I don't know whether she wants to be gender neutral. She can change that when she's older.
She's changing every day. Our Tia is like every week, or every year, let's say. So, growing up, she said, I like boys, I only like boys.
She is bisexual, just to say, guys.
Then she went through a phase of being bi, and then it was a phase that when she was with a girl, she
didn't know whether it was like she was a full lesbian, so to speak, or whether it was...
She did, didn't she? So I'm all gay, I don't like boys at all. Or men, well, boys back then. And now it's back to being bisexual.
That is just what it is now. Just completely, bisexual, that's fine. But I wouldn't... That's like me when she's born saying, right, you are gay. You know? It's not the case. I think, personally, you should just wait and let that child experience a little bit under no influence. Just literally experience life. I don't understand how a child can not have that experience first to make those decisions.
No, because you could find out your child. I mean, especially if they get bullied, God forbid, when they are at a primary school. Kids can be little sods at primary school. And you go in there, and like you hear stories, I've heard stories everywhere, like somebody going through, like Tia's friend. I won't name names, but Tia's friend who's wants to change to a boy from a girl. And when she was in high school, she didn't know if she should go into the male changing rooms, or the female changing rooms, or the male toilets, or the female toilets. And she felt really awkward. But if you turn your kid from day dot to 6 or 7 when they're in primary school, you're not boy, you're not girl, you are just a child. When you're old, you can make your own decisions. How are they going to feel about which change room they should go into? Should they play with the girls at school, the boys at school? And what?
Well, no, you can play with.
No, but it's in they wouldn't. They are going to be confused, aren't they? I don't know. You can tell a child at 1 day old or 1 year old you're not a boy or a girl.
Yeah, I do find that rather strange.
What we've got to think of all this in the first place. Last week or the week before, a story come out about Mr. Potato Head. He's now gender neutral. How the hell can that offend anyone? You can't be offended. It's a potato. It's a cartoon character in the shape of a potato.
But there is a Mrs. Potato.
Is a potato. I'm not offended if this turns around to me and says I'm a male or I'm a female. Don't bother me. But we apparently, or not us, someone in the world had to think, okay, COVID's going around killing a lot of people. There's poverty all around the world. There's people in Africa who are being mistreated and killed and have diseases that we can't get cures for. There's cancer. There's people in LA living on the street, up and down in tents. We can't fix that. But you know what we need to fix? Mr. Potato Head. We can't have him as a Mr. Normal. You know, it's got to be gender neutral. It's just Potato Head. What's the need? Because there is a Mrs. Potato Head. He had a wife. Well, we're getting rid of her now. We're killing Mrs. Potato Head because it doesn't fit in.
No, I think sometimes we need to strip it back to basics. I.e., if you are gay or straight, if you are want to change from a man to a woman, or woman to man, that's just that. I don't see why we have to change characters.
No, that's silly.
Because there are still just men and women. Whether you are straight, gay, or whatever, you are still you are born.
There are some very real things that over the years, rightly, back in the day, we'd all be like, why is that offensive? But looking at it, so some of the nursery rhymes that we all told as kids are actually very racist, but you don't know until you look into it, or you're educated in this, and like, look, don't say it in school anymore to the teachers, and they don't do it, that's right. And there's some characters over the years, and like things like, it used to be acceptable. Lenny Henry, I've heard an interview of him when he was first breaking out into comedy and stuff. His big breakout was in the Black and White Minstrels, and it was like 3 or 4 men, white men. He was the only black man in the group, and they would all put black face paint on, and they'd do like a show as 4 black people, 5 black people, and that was accepted in the 80s, and thousands of people went to view it. Now you can't ever do that, and that's right, because it's very racist and unacceptable.
Making an example.
Yeah, it's really unacceptable. But Mr. Potato Head can't have offended anyone that bad that they have to say, get rid of all the Mr. Potato Head toys out there.
Because then what happens to Barbie and Ken?
Well, there's not Barbie and Ken no more. They're gender neutral. So you can't dress them up anymore. You can't put them in men's clothes or girls' clothes.
Barbie and Ken's not no more.
No, but I'm joking. That's what it's next.
Because I saw them on the shelf in Morrison's the other day.
I'm saying that's the next step, though, ain't it? It's silly, but I'm all for anyone making their own decisions.
Well, then you have to change clothes as well. Mm-hmm. You have to make an item of clothing that's not too girly, that's not too male, like boyish.
I can't see her dresses like a tomboy a lot of the time, and that's cool. We have no issue in the slightest with that.
Yeah, but that was her choice.
That's what I'm saying. We would never forced it upon her.
No way. You have to give people time to
know what their body wants to do and what they in their head want to do with their future. It's like saying to your child, when you grow up, you're going to be a footballer or a fireman or a nurse. If whatever, if you're a lady, maybe you're going to... I mean, there's no jobs these days that is just all male, all female. Literally, both genders can do pretty much any job in the world, then that's right. But you wouldn't say to your child, you're going to be in the army, and there's no way other than that, and from day one, that's it, your future job will be in the army. You wouldn't do that to your kid. So why would you say you aren't going to be male or female? You're going to be a child, and when you get older, you can make your own decision. Because I think it leads to a lot of bullying and just making an example of them.
Actually, for me, it's just more about the confusion for the child.
It's definitely confusion, yeah.
Because let me tell you now, I wouldn't have known what was what.
No. I knew I was a boy because I was a boy growing up. I had boy toys
but like,
and
if you
stuff.
are born and you haven't got a name, and you go to school, and all the other kids have got names, then...
That's what I'm saying, it's going to get confusing for them. Why do that to your child? Like, we've known somebody, or like we've heard about a story from somebody who had a child, a young boy, and used to dress him like a girl. Whether the lad was happy about it, I don't know. But even if he was, even if he said, Mum, I want to wear girls' clothes, he's like 2 years old, 3 years old, are you not letting him, again, get into a position where things could get a bit awkward as he gets to primary school?
It's one of them ones where opinions vary. Of course they do. But I do believe personal choice is the best thing you can do. Sorry, you can have. So, and I didn't choose to be... My mum just didn't christen me. And also, when I got older, I wasn't christened because I'm not religious. So, you know. Now, you are christened. But would you have chosen being christened if you had the choice when you was older?
Again, it was the school I went to, the primary school. It was a Christian school, and back then they was really strict on it, and said, unless he's christened, is that called christened? Yeah.
Christened, yeah.
He can't come to the school. So my mum had to take me to church for like 6 months every weekend. They'd see me and my mum there, and my dad every weekend for 6 months, and then get christened. And they're like, yeah, no, you can come to our school. So when I found out this years later, I didn't mean out to me because I was like really young when it happened. But I was like, so we had religion forced upon us to join a school where education should be free anyway, in the respect of everyone needs education. It should not be a case of you have to be religious to get into the school to have the education, in my opinion anyways.
No, but what I'm asking you, if you hadn't been christened...
would I choose to? No, because I'm really not a religious person. But again, people who force religion on their children, I don't agree with that either. I think it should be a case of... Well, my grand and granddad did. They were very religious. My granddad isn't now, but my grand towards the end of her life got back into it. And they were very much Jehovah's Witnesses. Now,
I like that. Very much Jehovah's.
They really were. Like, I didn't... growing up, I was like, why don't my grand and granddad have a Christmas tree up? I didn't think much of it, just that they didn't have a Christmas tree. That's all. It's just they didn't like it, maybe. It weren't until I was older, and told me about it. I was like, well, what's it even mean? And there was very much Jehovah's Witnesses. They forced it on my mum like when she was quite young, and then as soon as she moved out and got with my dad, she's like, nope, sorry, my child is going to celebrate Christmas, and we're going to celebrate the proper way with a tree and presents and all this stuff. But you can't just force it on your kids like, okay, I see him. When I'm walking round, like walk to the shop or walking the dog, in the summer especially, you'll see these ladies, I've told Dan and you got about this before, you always know a Jehovah's Witness. They've got an handbag, a big handbag in the one hand, they link arms with another lady like this, unless there's a bloke with them, and they walk as slow as they bloody can down the street. Like they ain't got a care in the world. But every once in a while, you'll see one lady with this little boy in a suit on a bloody, in a summer holidays or on a Sunday. He's being dragged around, knocking on, knock. Hello, would you like to read the Watchtower magazine? And somebody might say, F off. And there's a kid there. It's like, you're dragging your kid around when he could be playing on his computers or talking to his mates or seeing a girl or playing football. You were brainwashing them with religion. I don't agree with it in the slightest.
See now, if you are brought up in a family that's already religious, so But that doesn't thrust it upon other people. That's my difference of opinion.
Yeah, give your child the option, now is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but to learn your own religion, do you mean?
Just leave it open, like say, okay.
If you are a religious person, you're going to educate your child, aren't you?
Yeah, but then as they get older, give them the option. Say, okay, you was young when you was born. Now you're in your teenage years, like 16, 17. You're old enough to make your own decision. You can either continue to follow the religion. Some people, there's a song years ago by a bloke called Plan B. What was his name? He went and changed his name to something else.
I'm not sure.
He had a few famous songs out a while back. And he did a song like this girl. It's a true story, apparently. She was Indian or... I'm not sure what religion she was. I'm pretty sure she was Indian. Which means she'd be... What religion's that?
I don't know.
Sikh? Something like that.
I don't know.
Anyway, all I know is they didn't mention the religion in this story, but it's because of religion that this happened. And he tells a story in his song of how mum and dad find... She comes home late one day from school, and they're like, what you been doing, what you been doing? And they find in her bag, while she's out of the house, a copy of, like, Just 17, like a girl's teen magazine. And they beat her to death for having this magazine, because it was, like, against their religion and stuff. I was thinking some of the stuff that happens in these religions is really not right.
I think the one that astonishes me the most... Bear with me.
And that's not what happens in all religion, or even in that religion. That's obviously extreme, what happened to that girl. But I think give your children the options to get older.
Well, I knew someone who was a Jehovah's Witness.
When they come knock at your mum's door?
No. No, this is serious, listen. I knew someone... Well, someone of someone, a friend of a friend, let's say. And she had a son, and he must have been about 8. And she let him die because he couldn't have a blood transfusion. They're not allowed it, and he died.
Well, we didn't know him, did we? We just heard it, didn't you?
No, I knew that person through a person.
Oh, well,
did you not know that?
No.
Yeah, through a person, I knew that.
Well, we don't know that person to talk to.
Leigh doesn't even know me. No, I even spoke to that person.
That sounds bad then, now that you knew the person who let the child die.
No, this was years after. I knew them when I was younger.
Right.
Like, you know, it was impossible for me to judge at that point, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Anyway, so that is the case. And her son had like a really bad thing, and she said no to a blood transfusion. And he eventually passed away. And I think it would have been the case that if he'd have had the transfusion, he would have had a fighting chance of survival.
That's crazy. But what's your thoughts on what we've been saying about the, letting your child make their own decisions as they get older about their gender? And if one of you can tell me, who's still watching now, why, if any of you are actually offended by Mr. Potato Head, and give me a reason why Mr. Potato Head offends you, I'll happily comment back, I'll reply to a comment.
I think the only difference of opinion I have to you is about the whole thrusting religion upon people. It's difficult if you are already in that situation. So let's say my mum and dad was, I don't know, give me a religion.
Well, my one.
Christian then.
Yeah.
Alright, so my mum and dad were heavy Christians. And I was brought into the world.
Keep biting my mouth.
I was brought into the world with them with Christian beliefs, so they told me I'm going to automatically take on those, aren't I? So I think it's not, that part isn't wrong, but it's contradictory though for you to say at age 13, right, I've told you all this is true, but if you don't want to believe it, you don't have to. That's a personal choice. I don't think they have to be told as an older child. I think life experience gives you that option anyway. You don't sort of have to right now, son, I'm going to sit you down and say, now I believe in a man in the sky, God, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, all the rest, which is perfectly fine. But I'm going to sit you down now and say, you don't actually have to though, it's your choice. That person will grow up to realise they have their own brain.
Yeah, but unfortunately there are some parents, and families, not just parents, who don't allow that to happen, and they say, okay, if you're now going to turn your back on the religion that we brought you up with, then we don't want to know you. And that does happen. We hear about it quite often.
Yeah, I had a friend, again, her parents turned her away because of that, and it's a shame really, because she's just an angel. She really is lovely. But
or maybe you're religious, but then as you grow up, your mind and body want different things. Like as in, maybe you want to be gay, but in your religion forbids it. So then you can't, you can't not be gay if you feel you are gay.
I'll give you an example. It's not necessarily a religion. Would you call it a cult? I don't know. Scientology. Oh well, if your sort of person in your family doesn't go along with that Scientology view, they will cut you off totally, won't they? There are so many children who have grown up to be adults whose parents have gone, see ya, don't want to know. You can go away. You finish with me. Live your life. I'm sticking to this rule. To me, listen, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you now. I don't care what God, what bloody church, cult, whatever you want to call it, the Vatican could come knocking on my door as far as I'm concerned. If it was the case of one, saving Tia's life, two, being said to Tia, I'm in this thing and I don't want to know you because you ain't in it, I would pick my child any single day of the week. They can cast me to hell as far as I'm concerned.
Well, in Scientology, I heard a podcast with Joe Rogan and the bloke. So what happened was the main man, he was a right nutter, the bloke who started Scientology. He used to write these books. He wrote books. But the problem was, he never checked his spelling or anything at all. He just started typing, just gibberish. And it is absolute gibberish, these books. They're all sci-fi books. And the bloke set up Scientology and all this stuff. And then he died. And the bloke who took over, a younger man, who was like his sort of deputy, whatever you want to call it, he took over. And his dad, who was part of it as well, his dad had took him into the religion. The son then took over the religion, Scientology, who was now the new leader after this other bloke had passed away. And his dad was like, I've got to get out of here. They weren't allowed to use the internet. Like they had selected internet what they could use. So he wanted to search. He was told that his friend had left this woman and she'd passed away outside of Scientology, outside of wherever they were staying. And he was like, okay, well, that's a shame. It's horrible. Can I go to the funeral? No, you can't.
I don't get that, though. I mean...
I was told she was alive and well, but he never heard from her for months and months. And eventually he got a phone which had internet on. He checked and he's like, what the hell? She's dead. His friend had passed away and they lied to him about it. So he had to escape. Bear in mind his son was the leader. He had to escape in a car when no one was looking. And they found him at a motel or something like that. And they come knocking. Him and his son and his daughter, we want you to come back. You have to come back. I don't want to come back. He's like 60 odd, 70 odd. And yeah, it's crazy stuff.
I think what the moral of the story is, like, some things go a little over the top.
A little bit.
I think, you need to have, with relationships with your friends, with the relationships with your children, a happy equilibrium. You have to bring them up the way you want them to be brought up. You have to let them make their own decisions. I don't agree with people who turn them children away for not wanting to be a certain way or whatever. Because to me, before religion, your child comes first. I don't care. If someone said to me, in order for Tia to be happy and safe, you need to live in a blooming tent on the top of a hill in Tibet, I'd do it. If someone said to me, if I was religious insane and I was absolutely, right, this is it, Tia's gonna you need to give it up, it wouldn't be questioned. I wouldn't care less if I went to hell. If I knew Tia was... So if someone said to me, but you know what, you ain't going to heaven, send me down south then. I'm off to see the wizard.
I've heard talking.
Yeah, well, you just got to be realistic with things these days, haven't you?
Yeah. So, if you're offended by Mr. Potato Head, this channel's probably not for you because I'm guaranteed to offend a lot of people in the upcoming videos. What do you think about your meal you made?
I think it's bloody lovely. Now, come on, tell the truth.
I'll be honest. I am said because I don't like onion or salad tomatoes. And she's like, look, there's only like 2 or 3 onions in here, finely cut. Just accept it. I was like, oh God. I was a big baby about it. I said to her at the time, I'll be honest with my thoughts. And the only bits I've really left are like, well, there's bits I've left. It's mainly rice. I've eaten all the meat.
Yeah.
And all the potatoes. And yeah, it's bloody lovely. It's been really tasty. The only bits I've left is rice and, there's a bit of meat here. A couple of cardamom pods, which was in there.
Yeah, well, me and Mum have had that discussion.
Bloody beautiful. So try it out.
But no word of a lie, that tasted like we'd ordered it.
Mm.
And that's what shocked me the most. It tasted like we'd ordered it, and I am very, very impressed.
Okay, sorry.
Is it alright for you to do that and not cut it off?
I didn't burp. I was trying to talk whilst I had food in my mouth. Are we going to try another one?
Yeah.
To do every couple of weeks?
I'm ready to... listen, Mal knows, don't you, Mal? I'm going to take over the world of Indian cuisine.
But big thanks to Mal and his
Yeah,
lovely wife,
thanks, Mal.
Fahana.
Thank you, beautiful people.
Yep, and we're ready to go. Let us know your thoughts. Gender neutral sort of thing. Like, as a child, should it be a thing, or do you not agree with it? Mr. Potato Head, is he offensive, or is it ridiculous that people waste time having these interviews, these conversations about such meaningless crap?
I'm all for religions. I'm all for whatever you want to be, go and do it. But I think we have to draw the line when it comes to Mr. Bloody Potato Head.
I have no issue with religion, so if anyone's got that wrong end of the stick, I don't have an issue with religion, so don't force it on me, and don't hurt people with your religion. As long as everyone's happy, and are only doing it who want to do it, that's cool and the gang with me. But again, in the whole transgender, gender neutral, gay, bi, frying pan, whatever you want to be, that's cool as well. Tears, bi, gay, straight, whatever she wants to be tomorrow.
I mean, there are people who marry objects anyway.
Of course there is. People who marry trees. There's a woman the other day who married herself.
Oh, yeah, she did marry herself. And people were saying, well, what are you going to do when you have an argument? Who's going to go in the next room? I mean,
that's a bit daft.
No, it's not even necessary. I mean, do they do it for publicity? I'm marrying the Eiffel Tower.
Probably.
I mean, that's a long way to go, isn't it, if you live in another country?
But
Where you're often nipping my husband. Where does he live? He lives in Paris. Oh, yeah, what's his name? Eiffel. Last name Tower.
But I'd accept that more than changing Mr. Potato to gender neutral. Because that doesn't offend anyone, the whole bloody potato, the Eiffel Tower thing. It's offended me that they feel the need to say, he can't be a mister, he's got to be a potato. I'm really irritated by that. There's no need. Because there already was a Mrs. Potato Head. And she was just as cool as Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, but it's not that they're trying to say you can't be classed as a Mr. or Mrs. It's just a thing.
I'd like to know who got killed off then.
No.
Mr. or Mrs.?
Well, I think it's Mrs. because the main potato
was Mr. And now he's not a Mr. Now he's just a potato.
What about a moustache?
The hell?
Do they... Because didn't he have... You've got to take that off now, or half on, half off?
No, he'll have no facial hair at all now.
What about, like, I think Mrs. Potato Head had red lips.
He was sort of a line.
He just had to have eyes.
I feel sorry for him, poor bugger.
Oh, well.
Being wiped out.
Look, that is a bit far-fetched now, isn't it, really?
Yeah. We've got to roll, guys. It's now at 7:30, cross.
Okay, then, guys. Well, remember to be kind, remember to be nice, comment, share, like, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notification bells at all buttons so you don't miss any future videos. Check out our Munchies channel if you want to see how this was made. Check out our Instagram. Come and follow us on there. It is private, but we will...
I accept you if you're not a nutter.
Yes, and also our Munchies Delight vlog channel. I've just said that.
Yeah.
On the community tab now and again.
We will also, in the upcoming videos, we've got a crime video to do. We couldn't tell. I didn't want to waste this lovely food with having to talk a lot.
I couldn't talk at the beginning anyway because I was ready to go.
So we've got a true crime video to come in the next few videos. Also, we will cover the other subjects we're going to cover today, which in my opinion is a good subject. Assisted suicide, yay or nay.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that one. Well, I ain't kidding you guys. This house right there smells like the Pearl of Bengal restaurant.
Which is an Indian restaurant in a city somewhere in the country.
I am telling you now, there's loads of them already.
I know.
It just smells...
delicious.
Aromatic.
It does indeed. Right guys, thank you.
Love you loads guys and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.